Hello everyone. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're tackling a topic that might seem complicated, but it's crucial for understanding how labor contracts work in a changing economic context. We'll be talking about inflation adjustment in labor contracts. So, if you've ever wondered how salaries are protected during times of inflation, this video is for you. But before we dive deeper, let me ask you, did you know that inflation can affect the purchasing power of your salary? And that labor contracts can include clauses to protect you from this? If you didn't know the answer, don't worry, you're in the right place. So, let's start with the basics. Inflation is the generalized increase in the prices of goods and services in an economy. When inflation rises, the money in your pocket loses value, meaning you can buy fewer things with the same amount of money. For example, imagine last year you bought a coffee for $2. If inflation is 5%, this year that same coffee might cost $2.10. Even if your salary stays the same, you're actually earning less because your money doesn't go as far. Now, this is where inflation adjustment in labor contracts comes in. This adjustment is a clause that allows a worker's salary to be adjusted periodically to maintain their purchasing power against inflation. That way, if prices go up, your salary can increase too. Imagine you work for a company with a labor contract that includes an inflation adjustment. Suppose your salary is $1,000 monthly and the country's inflation is 6% annually. At the end of the year, your company will review the contract and adjust your salary based on that inflation. This means your new salary could be $1,060 per month. This adjustment not only protects your salary, but also ensures you can maintain your standard of living despite rising prices. Now, it's important to note that not all labor contracts include this clause. The inclusion of inflation adjustment depends on several factors, such as the industry, the country, and negotiations between employees and employers. According to a study by the National Institute of Statistics, approximately 40% of labor contracts in countries with high inflation include this type of adjustment. Additionally, it's essential for workers to be informed and negotiate their contracts. Having an inflation adjustment clause can make a big difference in your quality of life. So, if you're in the process of negotiating a contract, make sure to ask about this possibility. Let's look at a couple of examples in different contexts. In countries like Argentina, where inflation can exceed 40% annually, inflation adjustments are a common practice in many labor contracts. However, in countries with economic stability, these adjustments are less frequent. On the other hand, in some tech companies, where talent is essential, it's common to offer salaries that automatically adjust each year based on the consumer price index. This not only helps employees protect their purchasing power, but also is a way to retain talent in a competitive job market. To summarize, inflation adjustment in labor contracts is a vital tool that protects workers from the negative impact of inflation on their purchasing power. It's a right that everyone should consider when negotiating their contracts. Remember that being informed is key. If you work in a place where inflation is a concern, make sure to review your contract and see if it includes this clause. If not, don't hesitate to talk to your employer about the possibility of including it. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. See you next time.